Hey everybody, and welcome to everythingvoiceover.com. My name is Justin D. Torres. Today we're going to be reviewing Voice123. Voice123 is a pay-to-play site, and for those of you who don't know what pay-to-play is, you give them a subscription fee, usually a yearly fee, and they give you auditions, and those auditions are for actual jobs, and then if you are chosen for that job, you go ahead and do the job, and then you get paid for it, and then you're done. And you may have a repeat client who will be there to ask you for jobs more and more. So it's just basically a way for someone with a home studio and recording equipment and an ability to do voiceover to make extra money. That's what a pay-to-play site is. And the big pay-to-play sites are Voices.com, Voice123, and the Voice Realm. And there might be a few other ones out there like Voice Bunny, and there's a couple of other ones, but the big players are definitely Voices.com and Voice123, and an up-and-comer in Voice Realm. Now, last week we did a review of Voices.com, so I think it's only fitting that I do a review of Voice123. Unfortunately, my views on Voice123 have always been very similar. I've been it's been pretty negative because of how personal experiences I've had with Voice123, but I came at it with an open heart again and really analyzed it again, and kind of have the same conclusions, but let's just jump into it. Here's the everythingvoiceover.com review of Voice123. Now let's start with the pros. If you want jobs and you want to get auditions, Voices123 does that. Voice123 gives you auditions. The numbers wise, it depends. I maybe get 15 auditions a week, maybe less. Sometimes auditions pop in and then they're gone in 2 hours. I don't know how that works or why that happens. They've got a little weird smart casting function, but they do have a lot of jobs in there. It's nowhere near the amount of jobs that Voices.com has, but there are a bunch of jobs, and the quality range of jobs are great. You have small, tiny jobs for more the newer people, and you have really big, high-quality jobs. And I've had a couple of really good jobs happen from Voice123. So the range is definitely there, and you can definitely change it if you don't want to go for under $100, and you can definitely put in that function there to filter it out. Another nice thing that they do have that's very interesting is that the competition is, because of the SmartCast function, the competition is less. So you're usually going to see a lot of jobs that are only 20 people wide, or there's not that many people going out for it. And that's just because of the combination of the SmartCast function and people, and not getting to a certain amount of people. Another interesting thing about the SmartCast function is that, and actually the auditions themselves, is that you can actually tell in the audition how many auditions have been reviewed, which is a good thing. That's something that Voices.com does not do. So you can see if a client has got 60 auditions and they have reviewed 0. So if you see that, you're like, oh, this person is not going to listen to auditions. They may not even exist anymore, so I should not do that audition, which is something you definitely should do if you're looking at Voice123. If you see that there's 60 auditions and they've listened to 55 of them, you shouldn't consider yourself the 61st audition. You should consider yourself the 6th audition, because this is what they're going to listen to next. And they haven't chosen anyone yet, so they're looking. So that's a good function they have, is to tell how many jobs the person has listened to. So if it's a dedicated client who's actually putting time into listening to jobs. So that's great. And then the client exists. That's amazing. So that's one of the big pros of Voice123. Unfortunately, we're going straight to cons now, because there is a few of them. The first one is the number of jobs. It's definitely not the same, not as good as Voices.com, and it's almost as pricey, if not pricier than Voices.com. It's at $400 per year, and that's an awful lot of money. And especially, it's harder to make that back if you don't have as many jobs to go after. And I look at it nowadays, and it's about 10, 20 per week, maybe even less. I don't really pay that much attention to it, because I delete jobs because I see that nobody is looking at the auditions. So I do certain jobs and I don't do certain jobs. And there's also a couple of jobs that have the same client over and over again, and you never know if they're actually hiring. That's the one thing you can't tell about those jobs, is if they are being hired and if they are actual jobs that exist. Another very interesting thing about Voice123, since it has separated itself out and it does not escrow any money, and it actually doesn't, as far as I know, doesn't make that much money off of the jobs themselves. They're not taking a percentage of the jobs. Their customer service is pretty much hands off. They're not making any money off of us when it comes to the specific job, so they don't care. So it's up to you to go get the money. They can actually even just keep having their jobs, the clients' jobs up, if you know that they're not good clients, or they don't, or they're asking for something that's too cheap. I mean, their customer service is non-existent, in my opinion. I've complained a bunch of times about certain clients, and they did not help at all. I had to go after clients for money myself because they have no say in it. So unfortunately, that's a huge con for me, and that's why they are at the bottom of the list, in my opinion. Of like, if you are going to start off voiceover, you do not get Voice123 first. You get Voices.com. The next thing that they have is a SmartCast function, and that's a con for people like me because I'm a grinder. I like to audition. I'll audition for 20, 30 jobs a day if I can, and I'll do it right away, and I'll put the best effort into it because I want to get a shot at the jobs. SmartCast, what it does is they take a look at how many jobs you've went after, and they kind of filter it out. Maybe they give it to other people. People who haven't done very many jobs. They almost reward you for deleting jobs that maybe don't work for you, or for deleting jobs, so they'll give you another job instead. So it's almost like they want you specifically auditioning for specific jobs, and that could be great for someone who's a 9-to-5er, because you will be in jobs that have only 15 auditions for it, and you'll see it pop up, and you're like, oh, great. And that kind of job, and you may have 3 hours to do it, and you'll still be at 15. Whereas Voices.com, a job pops up, it's hitting 30 within 30 minutes. It's hitting 20 or 30 by half hour, sometimes even 15 minutes in. The other thing that is a very huge con, and that this last SmartCast can be a pro or a con, but it's a con for me, so I put it in the con section. Ratings of auditions is something that they do. If you look in the answered section or your audition out box, you will see that the clients have the ability to rate your audition. Now, it's a 1 to 5 star rating. So naturally, I mean, like, I enjoy the Voices.com version because if they like it, they put a thumbs up. If they listen to it, they have an ear. That's all I need to know. I don't need to know if you don't like my audition. It doesn't make me feel any better or worse to know if you don't like my audition, because there's a million reasons why you couldn't like my audition. You could like it because it wasn't, you may put a 1 star and think that, oh, well, this is not the right type of voice I was looking for, so I'll put 1 star on there. Or if they're, maybe they don't realize what they want, and they're like, this one doesn't really work. Or to the other end of the spectrum, they could be like, this is horrible voiceover. I don't want to have anything to do with this, so 1 star works. But the thing is, it shouldn't be rated that way. And the thing is, they don't have a rating system for clients like Voices.com does, so this is the only rating system they have, and unfortunately, it's for auditions. I mean, there's so many factors that on a reason why a person wouldn't like an audition, and I get ones. Here's my thing. I get series. I get 1 stars, and I get 5 stars. And I know that the 5 stars most of the time, 80% of the time, end up being jobs, and the 1 stars don't, and that's fine. But it's something about looking at a 1 star rating that has absolutely nothing to do with anything is just demoralizing. And I know a lot of people are going to get 1 stars, and they're going to think, oh, I must suck. No, you don't. The system sucks. It shouldn't be that shouldn't be rated that way. Now, this may seem a little venti, but I want you guys to know about this before you get into it. Now, the other big con is the price, $400, a lot of money. I can't go any further into it other than the fact that it shouldn't be the most. It definitely is not worth the price, and it's not competition for Voices.com. I think it's a far cry from that website. The other one is that they don't have an escrow. They don't keep the money, so they don't have any vested interest in your job and how you interact with the person. You are going to have to invoice the job. You are going to have to work with the client. You're going to have to email them back and forth. You're going to have to create an invoicing system, and you're going to have to get on them for how they pay you. Some things will be checks in 30, 40 days from getting the job done. Some things will be longer than that. I've had 60 net days. And that's from voices.com. And you have to get on it. You can't just let it slide and forget about it. You have to be on those jobs in particular to make sure you get paid. Because you can't expect a client to come after you for to be able to pay you. Sometimes they do, and they're amazing, but I wouldn't expect it. The other thing is, like, you don't. Voices.com has recently contacted me for confirmation if you are doing the job, and I honestly, initially I never said yes. I was like, I didn't even respond to him because it's like, why should you know if I got the job or not? What kind of information, what kind of benefit is it to know that I've done the job? Are you going to help me get the payment? Are you going to help the client are you help the client work with me more? Or are you gonna, what exactly is are you gonna give me more auditions because I confirmed a job? That's what I want to know, but they don't tell anybody because their customer service is so bad. So, I've been saying yes, that I have done jobs and whatnot, and hope that it gets me more jobs, but there's no way to tell. So, so that's been my review of Voice123, and let me just tell, for newer people, Voice123 is supplemental. If you are doing well enough in voices.com to supplement the stream to pay for itself, that if voices.com pays for itself, then get the voice realm. And if both voices.com and voice realm are paying for itself over and over again, and you're upgrading your stuff and you're making money, then yes, go into Voice123. You can afford to take a $400 hit and go after a couple of Hail Marys for really good jobs from Voice123. So, unfortunately, I wish Voice123 was a little bit better. I have tried to message them and tried to email them, try to work with them. They are not really existent. Do I want them to be able to escrow like voices.com? Not really. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm a more well-rounded business person because of Voice123, because I've had to create invoices and invoice people, and I've got a whole slew, a roster of really great clients that have come from Voice123, and that's because Voice123 has jobs and auditions. It's unfortunate that the system is not as good as it could be. I think it could be much better, but until it gets better, it will always be in the back of my mind as the third or fourth best pay-to-play site out there, and they could be much better. Okay, well, that has been the review of Voice123. My name is Justin D. Torres. Thanks for coming to everythingvoiceover.com. Feel free to go to Twitter and follow us on EverythingV, or go to our YouTube page and subscribe there, or check out the podcast on iTunes, the Everything Voiceover podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Take care.